How you doing? This is Sons of Liberty, Michigan. I've done a 3-minute video briefly talking about this group. For a little backstory, I was a state rep in Michigan with another group that also goes by Sons of Liberty. You can go back and look at the videos where I talk about them. I left the group not because I disagreed with the national leadership within the group. They were pro Second Amendment. I am pro Second Amendment. I believe people need to be prepared for things that we hope do not come but may come. As we've seen with the constant escalation and the amount of deaths that we're seeing occur weekly in this country due to what they are doing, due to having the Gestapo private police force that he's created for himself. The fact that he is talking about sending these same goons into polling places in states that don't necessarily support him. We need to be prepared to defend ourselves against that type of bullshit. And while the national leadership, I think, had talked about getting people prepared and trained and knowledgeable on the things they can do to protect themselves, their family, their community, their state, their country, and their constitution. There was those within the localized leadership of the Midwest, and not all. I have a lot of respect for a lot of people within that group, but there were those in that group that I'm trying to be nice. They were cowards. Why they joined a group called Sons of Liberty. If you look at the history of Sons of Liberty and their involvement in the beginnings of this country, that is why I'm keeping the name for the group I am starting. But they joined a group with that history, with that name, and then wanted to sit in a chat and talk bullshit all day, and then never actually do anything. And if you brought up even the talking points from the national leadership, they automatically wanted to find every way to discredit you as a person. And they always try to use this, smart person bullshit talking points to try to downplay or disregard what you're saying because they're afraid. They're afraid of ever having to prove themselves. I've been to multiple events in D.C. with that Sons of Liberty group. We've done protests here in Lansing in Michigan as Sons of Liberty. So I've been involved, and I have yet, in any of those instances, see these people that want to sit on and talk about blah, 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 show up. Now, what they do in their own state, don't know. But I know when we've been called to D.C. as a group, they didn't show up. They had every reason in the world why they couldn't show up. Always the excuses. And as I noticed what was happening, as I was being attacked, in the last conversation string we had, it was regarding the national leadership, Big Sarge. If you go watch his videos, he's not tame or quiet about his opinion on the Second Amendment and what people need to be prepared for. These same people, if you defended that talking point, they would immediately go into, well, what's your strategy? What do you mean, what's my strategy? I'm just talking about getting our membership trained in multiple areas to be prepared for what they might have to deal with. And they thought by making you try to explain a plan, like right on the spot, somehow that was showing that you didn't have, they didn't prove anything. They didn't show anything that they had planned on doing, because all they wanted to talk about was their next Democrat meeting. You know, to talk about the midterms, that they just were confident we're going to save the United States. Again, I don't understand it. You joined a group called Sons of Liberty, and you're playing Sons of Liberty, but don't want to be Sons of Liberty. You don't even want to entertain the thought that you might have to do something more than go to a meeting and talk about canvassing a neighborhood. They're not looking at the threat I'm looking at, and most people are looking at. And my goal with this group, and you don't have to be from Michigan to join us, what I would hope is, as you become involved, as you see what this is about, what we want to do, that you would create this in your own state as your own Sons of Liberty, insert state, and build your own team, your own group, which then we can coordinate with, and you know, we don't have a national overwatch. We are independent, we do our own thing, and then we can work with others for things that might be needed. But my goal is to, you know, it is to reinforce, you know, if you've never had any medical training, do classes, you know, stop the bleed, that kind of stuff. Community involvement, how to de-escalate at a protest when someone like Jake the Pussy Lang shows up trying to cause trouble just so he can get a soundbite for his YouTube channel, to show how violent the left is, which is a fallacy in itself, because, you know, we see, you know, they act like we're all blind, deaf, and dumb, that we don't see who is instigating the violence in this country, and the rhetoric coming from their pedophile leadership, that they just want to follow to no end because they have no ability to think and do anything without someone telling them what to do. And that's what I'm trying to build here, a group of like-minded people who want to come together and prepare for what may come, in the hopes that we don't have to do anything other than what we're already doing. But as we've seen, we've had the two largest protests in this country in history. And even the Democrats, who claim to be on the working man's side, ignored it. Here in the state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, the governor, if you're is for the people and you're against what's happening in this country, and you're not a bought and paid for by corporate money Democrat and a bought and paid for AIPAC candidate, why is it you never showed up at any of these protests? You never voiced your disagreement with us as a group, standing in the Capitol on the lawn against what's going on in D.C. Never. And we have to realize Democrats aren't coming to save us. They want to go back to the status quo. They're attacking themselves right now. Well, they're not attacking themselves. They're attacking the new candidates that can't be bought by corporate PAC money. That can't be bought by AIPAC. Because AIPAC owns both sides. If Haley Stevens gets the primary and goes up against Micah Rogers, you know who wins? AIPAC. Because they own both. They own both of these candidates. It doesn't matter to them if it's Republican or Democrat, as long as they can continue to get the things for Israel that they want. Not what the American people want or need, what they want. And these new candidates that cannot be bought by those influence groups scare the Democrat Party to death, and they would rather lose the seat to another AIPAC bought candidate than let these other candidates in. And it's disgusting and sickening to see, but that's where we're at. That's why this group is here. This is what I'm trying to create. We need to realize if we're going to save anything, it's going to be up to us to do it. And we need to come together as a group plan for things, train for things, do things, help others, help each other. That's the goal. And unfortunately, in the other Sons of Liberty, I just didn't feel like they were members of that group that were willing to come to the level that may be necessary. Whether it is or not, whether it happens or not, we can all hope it don't. But we need people that are willing to step that way. We've seen the rhetoric from the other side. We've seen the hate. We've seen the violence. We've seen the violent rhetoric. I just watched a video where a guy is talking about we all need to get Louisville Sluggers and fix the other side. Really? You need permission? Do you own a Louisville Slugger hot rod? Do you own one? Because if you do you need a permission slip? You need a written permission slip from dear leader to do something? What are you waiting for? Don't sit there and talk shit on the computer and try to make yourself look like a tough guy and make yourself feel good about yourself. You're all puffed up and I'm a badass. Look what I just said. Screw that bullshit. Then I seen another guy, the same thing, talking about attacking peaceful protesters because they disagree with the pedophile. Really? Who are you waiting for to give you permission? But this is what we're hearing, and this is what we need to be prepared to defend against, if that happens. And we need to be able to do it as a group who knows each other, who have trained with one another, who feel comfortable with one another, who feel safe with one another, who can trust one another. Now I've created a couple links, I'm going to put them up here, for Signal. It is an unvetted chat, so if you do join, just know it is unvetted, which means we don't know who you are and you don't really know who we are, and we need to make sure we understand that if we're in there talking to each other. This is not a come join, we're all sit around, hold hands at the campfire and not try to figure out who we all are. That comes over time. That's how you build trust. That's how you build knowledge of each other. And that has to occur before you make it to the vetted side of things, which means that we know who you are and you are trusted. I've also started what's called Element. It's kind of like a more secure Discord type thing. I'm still learning it, but I will have the QR code up here if you want to join that thing. I do have a chat set up already. But we need to come together as a group. Anyone's welcome. Doesn't matter. Gay, straight, sexual orientation, we don't care. Don't give a shit what you do in your bedroom. Black, white, brown, green, if you want to show up, hey, we're welcome. Those that are not welcome are anyone that still calls himself a Republican today. Because if you're calling yourself a Republican right now, that means that you are fully and wholly in support of the pedophile that is in charge of the White House. And that means we are not friends. We will not be friends. Your enemy, the enemy of my enemy, is not my friend when it comes to you people. Because you people have been shown that you're more than willing to go right back to supporting whatever they want to do once whatever your grievance for the day has been met. And you cannot be trusted. Period. But if you want to join, if you'd like to, please do. Let's get to know each other. Let's get some things figured out. Get people prepared and do what we can and move forward. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I hope you have a great day and look forward to whoever wants to come aboard and get this figured out. Thank you.